I am extremely excited to have Elle Newlands on. She is the voice of Horizon and Apex Legends. A lot of you have been asking for Apex, so here we are. Elle, talk to me. You were born and raised in Scotland?
I was born and raised in Scotland, just outside of Glasgow. The weather is not great. The people are lovely, and we do deep fry everything, including chocolate, Mars bars, sausages, pizzas, fries. Like we deep fry fries. We're a very strange nation.
Oh my God, I love it. So I thought I was mishearing when you're like, we deep fry. I'm like, did she just say deep fry? That sounds delicious. I mean, deep fried pizza scares me a little bit, but chocolate? What's your favorite deep fried Scottish item?
So we deep fry Mars bars, which I think you get here, Mars bars.
Yeah.
We deep fried Mars bars, and those are the bomb diggity. They are amazing. But anything like the bomb diggity, anything that's sweet that is deep fried is pretty much a-okay in my book.
I love it. I love it. So what brought you to the States? You were always a singer actor, or what was it that like propelled you out of Scotland?
So my story is kind of interesting. I was a singer songwriter for a very long time. I've been singing since I was a kid, but since I was a teenager, I was like a touring singer with a lot of bands. I was a session vocalist. I would sing on people's albums. I would tour as backup. When I was in like high school, we like went to this massive music festival in Denmark. We went to the Ballerup Music Festival, and I think I was like 14 or something, unchaperoned, just like us, like without our parents. Just, it was amazing. And so I came to the US as a singer, and I didn't get a record label, but I had like a management deal that they were basically like creating my album, and that was kind of how it all started. And then just like I did more music over the years, I scored music for movies, nothing big, but just I was still singing and doing like jingle, and then I sort of segued into voiceover and acting, because why not, right?
Holy cow, that's incredible. So as a teen, you were touring, where your parents were like, yeah, let's help you out there?
Yeah, I think like basically in Scotland, we're more free range. Like, it's like, I don't know, it's like I certainly where I was from and like my generation, we were more free range. So it was like, yeah, go do it. That's fine. Just, don't do anything I wouldn't do, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so may I sing you happy birthday?
Yes, I would love that.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Carolina. Happy birthday to you, and many more.
So what you have 32 video games that are announced on your IMDb. I'm guessing there are more hidden or that you haven't gotten credit for, because that's how the world works. That is a ton of video game work. Did you ever think in Scotland that you were gonna frickin' do video game work? Ever?
Not remotely is the honest answer. I honestly thought I was going to be a rock star. That was like always the dream. The dream was I was going to be a rock star. I was going to be, like, I don't know. That's like, I always thought I was just going to be a singer. And it's funny how it worked out. I started doing on camera acting, and I sent my headshot to Abrams artists. This was over 10 years ago. I sent my headshot to the commercial department to try and get on camera rep. And I wrote this because I'm a stand-up comedian as well. And like, I'm always trying to do the comedy stuff. And so I wrote this like funny, like cover letter, and I was like, hey, I'm Scottish, and I guess you can't hear me. And it was like, it was like really silly, but it's sweet and cute. Anyway, I get this phone call, and they were like, well, have you ever thought about doing voiceover? And I said, yeah, I was like, I did a class when I first moved to LA a long ass time ago, which is really funny because that's the first time I met Roger Craig Smith, who's also in Apex Legends. He was in my class, and neither one of us were actors. This is just like the first thing we ever did. And so I had done that class and I was like, I'd always wanted to do it, but then I just got sidetracked with the music and all the rest of it. So I was like, yeah, actually, I do want to do voiceover. And so I went in and I read, like I went into the booth for Abrams and they were my first like voiceover agent. And so I was with them for quite a few years and I got, a good amount of video game starts with them. So that's kind of how that started. So yeah, it all started from a photo of me talking in a Scottish accent and text, right?
Oh my God. Oh my God. Would you say you voice primarily Scottish characters or you do a slew of accents?
Definitely when I first started out, I did. But one of the things I teach, I've been teaching some video game technique classes. And one of the things I always tell people, especially if anyone's listening, if this is what you want to do, if you have an accent, by all means, like always use your calling card, which is your natural accent, but the doors can open if you can do other accents. And so I have a lot of different, I have American, I have like, well, I think I counted World of Warcraft. I think I've got 20 characters in World of Warcraft. And I think like my 3 main characters, one is Scottish, one is British, and one is American. So,
oh my God, can you give us a taste of each? I know the chat would freak out if you did that.
My Scottish character is Moira Thorison. She's Queen Bronzebeard. And she says, "You stand before Moira, Queen Regent of the Dark Iron. Watch your tongue." And she's a dwarf, so she's tiny, she's hilarious, but she's this giant voice. So I also have a character, one of my characters in Hearthstone is called AFK, and that's literally what she does. She goes, "Oh, are we still fighting?" Because all she does is eat cupcakes. It's hilarious. The Hearthstone one, that character was really funny because, I mean, AFK, away from keyboard. She's this really voluptuous, like really gorgeous, like voluptuous character, but her whole thing is like, she's just always like sitting, things are on fire and she's just sitting in the corner with a cupcake.
Is Horizon the biggest video game character you've voiced that's really exciting? Like, I want to hear kind of the trajectory, because I'd worked on video games as well, and until Sombra came out, like I hadn't experienced, the signings we do on Streamily and that kind of thing, or the family that you guys have at Apex Legends. It's like JB and all of them are just so wonderful when you feel. So I want to hear about that experience, and auditioning was,
Well, yes, to answer your question, that is, I mean, I've done a bunch of AAA titles, but it kind of like Overwatch and Apex are very similar in the sense that actually, I don't know if Overwatch is similar in this way. We are literally an ongoing, we're like a series. So it's like every 3 months, 3 months, we get a new legend and we have all this lore that's going on. And so, yes, it's the biggest thing because it's ongoing. And so I'm starting to build an online community. I mean, I was cast in like April of 2020, but she didn't come out until November.
Oh, wow.
And so it was like when she came out, I probably had less than 1,000 followers on Instagram, less than 1,000. I really didn't use it that much. I'm a writer as well. So it was like, I would write poetry, or I would write these, like I write art. I write self-help articles for like different online journals. And so I would write like snippets of self-help stuff or whatever. And it was like, it was all my writing. So the day that Horizon dropped and Respawn introduced me as the actor, it was like I literally went from 700 on the day. I went from like 700 followers to like 7,000 in one day on Twitter, and it just kept. And I was like, "What's happening?" It was like really crazy. So, so yeah, and I would say, and that's why I say it's a slow burn, because I've been a voice actor for over 10 years. I've done a lot of stuff like this really cool, but nothing like this that just like boom.
So give me some of her amazing voice lines.
Time for experimentation, evaluation, and a wee cup of tea. Yeah, my favorite, I say this a lot because so again, like with my cameos or people reach out to me, I get asked to, because she's a mom, space mom. And she's a very uplifting, she's a very wholesome character. And so I get a lot of people saying, you know, reaching out for like pep talks or can you help my friend? Or, and so one of my favorite lines is, remember, ABA, always be ascending. That's like why I love this character so much, because she came to me at a time in my life when I just really, I wasn't expecting it. And it was one of the best, it was one of the most, it felt, and I don't say this often because I think there's a lot of competition and there's a lot of really amazing actors and who knows the factors of why people get cast and people don't. But with this character, when I got her, I was like, yes, this is my character. This is my role. Yes, I'm like, this is the one. This is the one I want. And like when I did my audition, or the callback, I should say, the audition was just at home. But when I did my callback, I didn't care if I got it or not. I was just like, you know what? I wasn't all worried or stressed out. I was just like, the fact that I got to just, it felt like I was stepping into a role that just was uplifting enough. I was like, if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. But I just know that this character is like, it's something I really want to play. It's something I want to embody. So when I got it, I was like, yes.
Yeah. Elle, I want to ask you about, I saw a beautiful horse video on your Instagram and I want to know what that's all about.
So I've been riding horses and being around horses since I was 7, very young. And I made this joke on another stream the other day. I said that when I did Halo, so I was in Halo, and when I did Halo, I did a lot of motion capture because we did like this whole Spartan series thing. So we ended up doing like kind of an offshoot, kind of like it was like almost like they're doing live action now, I think. I said, you know what? I had kind of made like money from doing motion capture, and I decided, I was like, that was the year I was like, I'm gonna buy a horse. And I was an older person. I wasn't a child. I was like an older person. I was like, this is my first horse. And I bought her, and it turned out she had health. I'm trying to make this a very short story. She had health problems. I ended up doing like different tests, and it turned out she had this really weird muscle disease. And so I found this, I went to all these teaching hospitals all over the world trying to find out more. I found this guy who was a genetic scientist. They DNA sequenced her her DNA. They sequenced her DNA. They found that she had this variant for this muscle disease. They created a test, and now there's like these commercial tests that you can get, that horses all over the world can get tested for this muscle disease, that when I first found out about my horse, I had no clue what the hell to do.
Oh,
and
my
now,
goodness.
like, over the last 8 years, like there's this community that's kind of like unfolded, and like we're all, so I decided like, and plus my horse was so healing. Like, she's like a shaman.
Oh.
She really is. And like, I call her my alpha mare because, and she's not remotely, she's like super introverted and dopey, but she's so powerful that she's like my alpha mare. She's like super, she's just like this incredibly strong, resilient, stoic energy that's been through so much in her life. Was a polo horse, and she was imported from Argentina. So she's actually Argentinian.
Wow.
So she's just had this like, and she's 26. So she's had this long life. And she came to me at a time in my life, like when I just was lost, and I said this in my thread, I was like, I had PTSD, I had like depression, I had all kinds of trauma that I hadn't worked on, and I was struggling. I embarked this year. I decided I was going to do it in 2019. And then I was almost going to do it. I talked about it in 2019 because I'd wanted to do it for a long time. I almost signed up in 2020 and I didn't. And then I signed up this year. I'm doing a year-long certification, and I'm learning the skills of how to coach people with horses, not on horses, on the ground. So the horse is like your mirror, and you're working with the horse.
So are you going to try and, I mean, you're going to get certified, Elle, and then work with patients possibly, or?
Yeah. So basically how it works is it will be like probably for the first little bit while I figure it out, it's like, it'll be one-on-one. So people will come, and they'll come in, and we'll set an intention, whether it's people want help in their career, their trauma, their life, like, you know, I'm not a therapist. So it's not about me therapizing people. That's not remotely what I'm going to do. I'm going to be the conduit that will bridge them with the horse, because then it's the contract between the horse and the human. Yeah. That's what healing work. I just did an on-site, my first on-site for this where there was 15 of us and we were all working with the horses, and like they'd be like the one horse would work with like 3 or 4 people in a row in the round pen, and every single person had a completely different experience with the horse, because that's the part of it that works. I mean, I was bawling, I was in tears in one of them, because it just brought up all this childhood stuff that I hadn't even been thinking about. The horse didn't even do anything. It's just sometimes you have an experience where like I went in and I was like, all right, I want to move the horse. I just want to go in and I want the horse to go around in a circle. And the horse wouldn't do anything. It was not doing what I wanted. And it got to the point where it broke me down and I was crying, and then I realized, I was like, oh, that's a metaphor. So it's a lot of metaphors.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you feel stuck in life and you try and go in and move a horse, the horse is going to be like, no, because you're not coming in here honestly. You've got a block. Here's your blockage. Let's figure out where your blockage is, and then you get to tell me how to move. I'm not moving for you. You're not safe to me right now. Emotionally, you're not present. You're not emotionally present. Therefore, why would I, as a horse, do what you ask me? You can't be the leader. You're not the leader of your own life. I'm going to teach you how to be the leader of your own life. Boom. That's how it works. It's crazy.
Elle, thank you for joining today. This was really lovely. I got to know you better. Hopefully we can get drinks soon. Hopefully I'll audition for Apex, all the good things. We'll see.
With Anjali, we'll get together with Anjali.
That would be great. Guys, keep booming and booping. Boop.